Thank you, everyone, for watching my show, William Wallace for America. As you know, I like to repeat, I'm always looking for ways to fight for freedom in our country. We don't really notice it. We're losing freedom in a lot of different ways. And I'm always looking for people who are doing their part to protect not only freedom and liberty and our rights as Americans, but our rights as humans, that we were endowed with our rights by our creator. With me today is one of those people, Kevin Sorbo. You may know him from his movies, God's Not Dead, Left Behind, Christmas Angel. The list goes on and on and on. Kevin, I want to thank you so much for doing your part, because I think one of the things that you're doing is on a battlefront for freedom and liberty and our religious rights in America. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
My pleasure. William, I want you to read all 87 movies that I've done, the title of every one, okay?
You know,
there's about 12 that aren't good. I mean, I didn't know they were going to suck, but they ended up sucking. But most of them are pretty good movies. And yeah, you know what? My part is I'm doing movies that Hollywood used to do. I'm trying to do movies that have hope and love and laughter and freedom and faith, things that are positive, like Hollywood used to do before they started going to this crazy cancel culture, diversity, wokeness, insanity that they're doing right now.
It's funny you say that. I was thinking about the timeline, when Hollywood switched from doing good movies that involved a lot of hope and a lot of just goodness and wholesomeness, to more of a culture kind of themes, I guess you will. And now it looks like your movies are trying to bring that back. You're kind of, doing that back, where you're bringing back hope and love and faith and everything back into culture movies.
Well, it's weird. I mean, I think the change in Hollywood happened really during the 60s. You look at that turbulent decade, you look at Vietnam War, the hippie movement, the free love movement, rock and roll getting very political, JFK and RFK both getting assassinated, Martin Luther King getting assassinated. They started going and celebrate the negative, the anti-hero. They started, and it's gotten just so much worse since then, and especially the last 10 years, what they're doing with these movies. Disney is paying the cost. Disney knows who their audience is, just like Bud Light knew what their audience was. What were they thinking when they put a transgender in to promote their beer? I mean, I don't care what people do with their personal lives. I could care less.
Right.
But to sit there and attack, to go against what your base is, and they learned the hard way. They learned the lesson. And Disney the same way. Disney's looking over $1 billion loss with all their woke crap they're putting out there. People are sick of it. So I'm trying to do movies. Look, I do really wonderful movies.
I see. I know.
But we don't have $100 million advertising budget for a $3 million movie like they have for their $300 million Spider-Man and Avenger movies. So they can put a commercial plugging their movie on every football game and every sitcom on TV. So we got to rely on word of mouth. But I want to keep doing these kind of movies. People stop me all the time, thank me for the movies I'm doing. And I go, well, then I need you people to have a strong voice out there somehow to let people know these movies are out there, because these are good movies with good messages. And they're not like you better believe in God, you're going to hell. They're not those kind of movies. They're just really good movies that have a good message about just family's important, faith is important, being a patriot is important, all these kind of things. And Hollywood used to do those.
You're not preaching or indoctrinating in your movies. You're basically just using good foundations to create a wholesome movie that doesn't involve the other forms of indoctrination, which other movies have that are putting out by Hollywood. They have, they not only have commercials to promote it, but they have commercials within their movie that are subliminal, are done in a way that helps indoctrinate other people with their narratives and ideologies instead of just wholesomeness. But I love how you're doing it. So do you think that the faith and the conservative values make for a better movie?
Yeah, I think they do. Hollywood had great success for decades doing it that way, So why they're running away from it? Why look, Hollywood can scream socialism is great or communism great all they want. Let's face it, they are a capitalist business. They want to make money,
right?
And it's so strange that they jumped on that bandwagon now for whatever reasons, to sit there and promote America as it's an evil place, it's a hateful place. We're started in universities, it's all the way down to kindergarten now and through that. Public schools are just pathetic.
And they've raided our libraries now.
Oh my God! Well, look, Kirk Cameron's a friend of mine. We were neighbors for a long time in Thousand Oaks, California. I escaped California 5.5 years ago. I live in the free state of Florida, which I love it here.
I love it.
But Kirk did a book with Bray Books, and they wouldn't let him read in half the public libraries. Public libraries that we pay with our tax dollars even be open, and yet they were okay with drag queens reading to 7 or 8 year olds.
Right.
If you've ever seen Kirk Cameron, be very afraid. Well, they came to me when I started talking about embracing masculinity, and now I did my own book with Bray Books called The Test of Linehood. So I hope people will check this book out.
Is all that on your website?
This isn't anti-anything. It's about letting kids be kids. Let them grow up. Let them decide what they want to be when they're old enough to make that decision. And now I'm doing another one's coming out in June, Father's Day month, and it deals with fatherhood. So please look for that book. Go to braybooks.com, braybooks.com. Sign up.
Can they get that link on sorbostudios.com?
Yes, they can. sorbostudios.com.
So if you notice, I'm scrolling at the bottom of the screen right now about Sorbo Studios. How much harder is it? Huh?
Everything is at that website.
Well, that's what I'm putting on there. So when people see it on Rumble, they're going to be able to watch it. If they're hearing me on the podcast, they're going to go to sorbostudios.com. How much harder is it today to put values in a movie? You're up against that culture of Hollywood that basically entices people to see a movie with the narratives and the hot topics and basically sex and romanticism, but how much harder is it to put values in a movie today?
Well, here's the thing that's just weird. I've got a wonderful script dealing with, I'm Norwegian. I'm second generation Norwegian, born here in America. And I've got a wonderful script that deals with this guy in Norway back in the 12th century, okay? So we're trying to raise money for it. And a couple people said, well, okay, can we make this person black? And I went, whoa. There were no black people in the 12th century in Norway. It's just like, stop this insanity. And when I do a modern day movie, yes, I'm all for diversity in a movie because I have no problem with it. Because if I'm shooting a movie that's a story about somebody in New York City, you're going to have quite a variety of people.
Exactly,
so I'll cast the people that are right for the role. I get tired of this whole thing. I say I want more diversity in the NBA. It's really unfair that it's all black athletes. Why can't we put some midgets in there? Some people from Guam, and then people don't get my sarcasm on Twitter, or they're just jerks anyway. They want to tag me whatever I say, and I go, "You want the best people?" And I go, "That's my point."
Exactly. And if a midget has more talent, then hey.
Exactly. What are pro sports? It's entertainment. It's entertainment. You want to see the best. Just why every movie I go to, I want to see the best people you could possibly hire at that time for that movie. Why do I want to hire people that can't act? Or can't do special effects,
right?
Or horrible at somebody who's never done sound before in a movie. Hire that person. They have an iPhone. They can record sound on their iPhone. Right. It's so crazy what we're doing right now, and I'm just trying to fight it with good movies. Oh, follow me on Twitter as well, K-Sorbs, KSORBS. My buddies call me Sorbs, and I've got 2 million followers on Twitter. I post sarcastic truth.
What's funny is, and I love your humor, and I picked up on when you talk about being midgets in the NBA, about not, of course having some diversity in there, but the left's idea of diversity is equity over equality, and following your lead, if they had midgets in the NBA, they would have to allow ladders, so the ladders would bring true equity to the NBA, right? That's a way we could bring equity and diversity to the NBA, right? Is with the ladders.
Well, lower the basket to 2 feet off the ground. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I like your way better.
Done too.
Do you see a reawakening in the truth in America? There's a lot of, I think there's more and more people waking up. And realizing. Do you feel that sense of I guess revitalization of not only the American spirit but freedom and liberty, and what the attacks on freedom and liberty are?
Well, the insane people are going to stay insane, but I definitely see a turning point. Like I said, I mentioned what happened to Disney losing over $1 billion. People are starting to speak with their wallets and saying, enough of this crap, guys. We need to fight back. I do it in the movies that I do. I do it in the things that I post. I do it in the guys. This is crazy. I think one of the blessings of COVID is 2 million more families. 2 million more families are homeschooling because they finally sat back when they closed down the schools, which was insane. Because let's face it, that age group has a far more healthy system to fight off any diseases than you do as you get older. So it was crazy what they did to these kids. And people woke up and they said, wait a minute, let's take a look at what they're doing in public schools. And they said, okay, honey, I think we should stop using public schools as a babysitting service for our kids. Like, get them the hell out of there. Let's start homeschooling, because we're homeschool advocates. We've done it. My wife did it. She travels the country speaking on it. Thank God. And here in Florida, we got rid of 12 of the school boards. We got rid of all the liberals that when they put in conservative people in the school boards. So you're not going to be passing out to third graders female. It's just insane what we're doing these kids at that age.
Look, every time I meet a homeschooled child and their family, they're always well mannered.
Oh yeah.
They're teaching not only values, but they're teaching work ethic. And I think work ethic is something that we've lost in our school system right now. And they're not teaching work ethic.
Yeah.
And so people, the public schools are putting out this product of children who aren't educated. They've been indoctrinated. They don't have a work ethic. And then it's easy for them to be turned over to a government system. And it's easier to control somebody's freedoms when they're not educated and they don't realize how to basically, supply for themselves.
Yeah, my kids are great, very personal. I love when they say, "Well, what about the social aspect?" My kids are far more social than any of these public school kids, which all they worried about is what their social media is looking like in terms of, how much can I jiggle my boobs? I'm a 16 years
Right.
old. I mean, it's just the weirdest thing out there what we're doing. And my oldest son Braden, my gosh, he runs social media for Dinesh D'Souza and a couple other big names. I'm not going to name them, but it's just he's amazing. Charlie Kirk has taken him under his wing. He goes to all the Turning Point USA events. He's got his own booth. He gives speeches. He sells his book. He's got his initials are BS, Braden Sorbo. So his book is The BS Guide to Politics for Young People. It's a great book. It's a great read. So
I love it.
You can find it at Sorbo Studios as well. But it's amazing what my kids are doing right now. And there's a lot of kids out there that woke up, because I speak a lot across the country, and I've spoken at the Young Americas Foundation, YEF, head up by Governor Scott Walker, where I spoke to about 800 kids at the Reagan Ranch last year. It was awesome. And these kids are our future. And it's a positive future that we have more and more of these like growing up right now, because they get it. And a lot of them woke up with the insanity of what happened during COVID.
A lot of our young people are waking up right now, and they're realizing that conservative values aren't really a right-wing Republican value. They're just a value that brings not only more freedom and liberty to you, but prosperity also to you. And I love how you're tying that in with our young people, because we need to wake more of those guys up and realize that their freedoms are under attack too.
Well, look what Hollywood's been doing for the last 50, 60 years. Everybody who's if you're casting a person of faith or a conservative person, they're the evil ones. They're the wicked ones. They're the dumb ones. They're the idiots. So you've been brainwashed with this thing that anybody's conservative is the evil one. This whole thing with Trump, Donald Trump was loved by everybody on both sides. They all wanted him on their TV shows, guest spots, to come speak. The minute he said, "This is where I'm going to run now," they decided to just go after the guy. And for 9 straight years now, they've just been attacking him day after day. And so when I meet some of these people, I get in my face. I go, "Wait a minute, just because you yell louder than me doesn't mean you're right. So tell me what you don't like about Trump. He's a racist." And I go, "How is he a racist? Was he a racist because he made black unemployment the lowest it's ever been in the history of America?"
Right,
Was that
exactly
well,
right.
Tell me how he's racist. They can't answer the question. Okay, then they say, "He's an asshole." That's not a policy. Okay, tell me what policies you don't like of his, and they can't name them. I'll name some for you. Did you love it that he made us energy independent? We didn't need oil, anything from any other country, that we could have gas at $1.80 a gallon right now. No. It's better when Biden came in to stop that, to buy oil from countries that hate us in the Middle East, so we could keep funding our own wars against ourselves. How crazy is that?
Do you, and more, even furthermore, do they like it that they're bringing in so many low-wage people in our country? It's not only an invasion, but it's an attack on the middle class in America, because when you add that many people to the labor force, it's only going to hurt Americans because they're willing to work for so much less.
It's crazy. 10 million people in 3 years have crossed our border.
And that's just what they're telling us.
Yeah, that's what they're telling us. We're finding out now that they flew 1 million across too. Which is treason. They actually flew Delta, United, whoever, down to Mexico, filled it up with people from all these different countries, and just flew them in and dropped them off at different cities. And they dropped off a bunch of them here at my airport here in Florida. I mean, it's unbelievable what we're doing. And they're doing it on purpose to destroy this country. They want to destroy America, and nobody's saying anything about it. And these people that get in my face, we should have open borders. And I say, why? Do you lock your house at night? Well, yeah. Really? Why do you lock your house? Oh, I don't want people breaking in. Oh, but you're okay with the House of America, 10 million people coming across the
Right.
border. Boom. There's no logic with these people whatsoever. It's just emotion. They deal on emotion. And unfortunately, the emotion they deal on is filled with hate and anger.
Well, I think that freedom is under attack in America in a lot of ways, and that's one of them with the immigration system, because not only are they bringing more people in who just don't, who haven't, who they're when you drop people in off in America that have never been to this country, they're not going to know our rules or laws or procedures, and that in itself is I think, have a reverse tidal wave, and like you said, dilute our country and dilute the desire for freedom and dilute freedom in America. So that's just one of the ways. But where do you think that freedom is under attack in America the most?
Well, I think what they're doing to the economy, what they're doing to the invasion of people. I think there's so many things that they're making America a worse place to be. I mean, it's just, and the violence. You let these people,
Right.
you let them steal in your store. Don't stop them. What?
Right.
Number one, that's just crazy. And make sure they can only take up their $950. Yeah, that's what they're doing when they run the stores and grab 20 Versace suits that are valued at $10,000. I mean, it is so stupid that we're letting this happen in our country. Let them march down the streets, BLM and Antifa and all these other people. Antifa, they're the fascists. But anyway, let them march down the streets. Let them burn down people's businesses, attack people with tire irons, burn down cop cars, start precincts on fire, defund the police, all this stuff. None of this stuff makes any sense. And our governors and our government let them do it. This is, bring in the National Guard. Bring in our vets, give our vets jobs.
Right.
Let them be security guards in front of every public school, in front of every store. Give them jobs with dental and health, and tell them that we appreciate everything they did. And instead of letting these punks just steal and do whatever they want, and people don't do anything.
Right.
Apathy is the biggest killer in America now. People go, oh, well, it's crazy.
And you know what? That's an excellent point, because when it comes to elections, I think that, a lot of people want to talk about election integrity and the machines and stuff like that. And I tell people, look, I don't get me started on that, but I think that the biggest problem with our elections is apathy, like you said. We have, like here in Louisiana, we had a governor's race last year, and we had, I think, like 38%, 30 something percent of people show up to vote. When you have that small of a turnout, it allows all those registrations that don't get used, by the voter to be used by a ballot harvester, or for the people who think it's the machines, get used by machines to be able to swing elections. And when and people who say, well, my vote doesn't count, I say, well, the problem is if you don't vote and you have a low voter turnout, the elected officials and the powers that be realize that not enough people in your community or your state or in our country care enough, and they know how much they can get away with. When 70% of people who don't show up into the polls, they know that most people in America are too apathetic to care about their freedom. And like you said, I think it's one of the biggest attacks in America.
Well, 50% of Christians don't vote. I mean, what does that tell you? And that's just stupid to me. They get out and vote. Here's the thing. Voter fraud is around. As long as we're going to have mail-in voting, there will always be cheating on voting. And that's on both sides of the issue. I mean, do I believe that Biden won the election? No. I'm a denier of that completely. There's no way that guy who sat in a basement got 15 million more votes than Obama did when Obama got elected in 2008. There's just no way. Obama could actually put sentences together. Very bright guy.
Right.
Biden, not so much. And it's insane that we think that he actually won that thing. The voter fraud was there. It's proven. You can see it. There's video footage of guys at 2 a.m. just stuffing ballot boxes in Philadelphia, for instance. But everybody says, you better not deny vote. Of course I'm going to deny it. Of course I am. And I'm mad at the Republicans for the last 3 years not bringing it up, saying we need to get rid of mail-in voting. Get rid of it.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I've always said that Democrats do the cheating, but a lot of the Republican establishment lets them get away with it and does absolutely nothing about it.
Well, there's lying and cheating on both sides. Just the Democrats are more organized with their hate. So
The Republicans kind of fumble and bumble. The Republicans do a good job at pointing fingers, to cover up their mistakes. To your point, I had John Eastman on my show a few months ago, and he explained all the different laws that were broken in the 6 key, swing states. And when
Right.
you look at it on a micro level like that, you realize not only how easily it was done, but you realize, again, to your point, I thank you for that, apathy. It shows how many voters and people who are just apathetic that just kind of go, our elections are safe, go back to sleep, everything's okay, and they just kind of ignore things. But what do you think that the average American can do to protect freedom in America? What is like something that you would like give some advice to?
Wake up. Stop being afraid. Don't let fear rule your lives. Fear is government's favorite weapon. They love using fear, and they saw it on full display with COVID. 15 days, we're going to lock you down, kind of figure this out. Then it goes a year, 2 years, and they close down mom and pop stores, which never recovered. Costco could stay open. Target could stay open. They were essential.
Right.
They destroyed thousands and thousands of people's livelihood. And they wrecked so many kids, those 2 years in school that were robbed from them, took away not only the social aspect of it, which I think homeschooling is better anyway, but the sports and things for kids. Because for me, public school sports was all about it for me. I was a good student. I was an A and B student, but I also loved the camaraderie of the sports that I played, football, basketball, and all that stuff. So it's just pathetic what they did, and they did it on purpose. And this was a test. This was just a little test. Trust me, they're going to do it again. And everything that I got taken down through on Facebook, I lost millions of followers. I got banned 3 years ago from that wuss Zuckerberg and his minions, or a bunch of wussies. They took things down saying that I was misinformation and conspiracy. Everything I said now has been proven true, of course, because I was speaking the truth. But now even Fauci came out and said, yeah, masks were really not that effective. Of course they weren't. They weren't effective at all. And to sit there and take the shot, you'll never get COVID. Oh, you got COVID? Take a second shot and wear a mask. Oh, you still got COVID? Okay, wear 2 masks and a shield and take the booster shot.
Right.
Still got COVID. It's unbelievable. What's changed? Why aren't we still out wearing masks everywhere?
But you know what's changed? Heart attacks are up.
Oh,
strokes are up. Cancers are
800% higher death rate in under 25-year-olds. 800% higher. Gee, I wonder if that has anything to do with the shots that they make people. Look at these girls 10 years from now, they won't be able to get pregnant. You watch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been watching a lot of those. Yeah. Matter of fact, there's some young. I know somebody in healthcare, and she works for an OBGYN clinic, and she sees lots of health problems in younger women's reproductive systems right now.
Of course.
And she's been doing ultrasounds for almost 40 years, and she's seeing things that she's never seen before. And she can't explain it. But
I can explain it.
Right, exactly. But I want to go backwards for a second. You said you were labeled for misinformation. I want to say that there's some truth to that, though, Kevin. That you are misinformation. If somebody misses you, they're going to miss some information.
There you go. There you go. Perfect.
So I'll give you that little gift there. So talk to me. I'm going to switch for a little bit because I know we just have a few minutes left here. What about some of your latest movie coming out? Is there anything you want to do to promote one of your latest movies?
I do. I got a number of really good projects coming down the pipeline. I've got 4 movies in post-production right now and 3 documentaries that will be out later this year. Sorbo Studios, as you've been posting there in this whole interview, is a great place to go. SorboStudios.com. It's everything that I'm doing, everything my wife's doing. Some of our stuff is together. Some of our stuff is separate, but people can sign up, be kept up to date. I got a wonderful documentary coming out. It's out right now. Actually, I got 2 things that Epic Times funded. They're getting into the business like Daily Wire was now doing movies. I did a documentary called Hollywood Takeover. It's about the takeover of China that's taken over everything in Hollywood, and they're telling them what they can and cannot put in their movies, that if they want to put them into China, they have to follow their guidelines. And Hollywood just bends over backwards because it's a $1.5 billion market for them there, right? And then the other movie is called The Firing Squad. It's a true story set in Indonesia. It's current time, 2015. They still have the firing squad as a means of execution there. So go to HollywoodTakeover.com and go to the FiringSquadMovie.com and check out what we got going. And the other ones, there's more documentaries and more movies that will be out probably later in the year.
I'm loving this. I'm loving following you. The more I find out about you, the more I want to promote you. And look, you're always welcome on my platform anytime
Thank you.
I can help promote a movie. And look, if you need an extra, named William Wallace, I've never worn a kilt before,
There
but
you go.
for one of your movies, I might wear a kilt.
Freedom.
Exactly, exactly. I noticed the claymore behind you, or is that a claymore? Is that
Which one?
the sword?
This was after 7 years on Hercules, that was given to me in the very, very last day of filming after 7 years. Very emotional day for me because that becomes your family. I lived in New Zealand for 7 years, and it's got the years on there, Hercules 1993 through the end of 1999. And it says the journey may be over, but the legend lives on.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, Kevin, I'm gonna finish up here our interview. Is any final words that you'd like to give out there to encourage people to keep being not only aware of our freedoms being lost, but what they can do to not be complacent, not be apathetic?
Wake up. We got to wake up the lions. The sheep are going to be the sheep. They're always going to bend over backwards, let government control their lives. They're going to let fear control their lives. There are a lot of lions out there that are holding back. Do not be afraid. Get out there and fight the good fight. You're going to get canceled anyway by these stupid minions out, these stupid trolls. Don't worry about it. Your life will go on and you're going to feel a lot better about it. So keep fighting the good fight and go to sorbostudios.com.
I love it. Kevin, hang on one second. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. Please, if you want to share this video, I ask you to with somebody you think might be interested in what they can do for freedom and liberty, but also check into Kevin Sorbo's studios at sorbostudios.com to see other ways that you can spread the message on faith, on freedom, on all the ways that we can do to protect those things in our country and save our country. Thank you all so much and have a great day.